Guys, welcome back. My name's Carson, and I'm here to review Harry Potter Part 2. Because, like I said, I haven't watched it yet. I can't remember what the subtitle of this Harry Potter is yet. All I know is it's the second one. I've only seen the first one so far. So, as usual, I'm going to go ahead and talk about my expectations for this film, what I'd like to see, and then I'm going to run and go watch the movie and then come back and give you my initial response to that movie with a score and my MVPs and least valuable player. So I guess what I kind of want to see in this one is, you know, more of Snape mainly. He's definitely the most interesting character to me that we didn't really deep dive into in the first Harry Potter movie. And, you know, Snape, he seems like he's up to something, but you don't know what. You think he's kind of supposed to be the bad guy in the first one who's trying to bring back Voldemort, the big bad of the entire franchise. But it turns out he's somehow protecting Harry Potter, and I don't know how many movies we're going to sift through before we figure out his complete mystery, but I kind of hope it's sooner than later so we can continue to dive into the Snape character. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what Snape is up to, and Dumbledore as well. I mean, he's supposed to be like, you know, your ultimate good guy here. He's the guy who's ultimately protecting Harry and the rest of the kids from all of the evils out there. He's the most respected character. But what is his motivation here to really, I mean, you can kind of tell, and I didn't really touch on this for my, you know, analysis of the first one, but he really favors Gryffindor in the school that, you know, the class that Harry Potter and his friends are in, to the point where they were dead last, and all of a sudden here's, you know, generous points to make you number one, which kind of a lame ending, to be honest. So I'm really curious to see if there's more to Dumbledore besides just White Knight in shining armor protecting our protagonist. So really curious to see what they're going to do with that. And of course, my expectation for this one, we're just going to get to see more of that world building I talked about in the first video. Obviously, we're going to see Harry come back from summer break or whatever type of break these kids get in between their classes here. So we get to see him reunite with Hermione and Ron, and we'll see what they did. Hopefully we don't have to see more of that family. The cousin and the aunt and uncle, hopefully they're in it for like 30 seconds and we just don't see them for the rest of the movie. So definitely don't want any more of that family. I just want to see him back at Hogwarts doing his thing. And then I really hope that the plot is like boom right there as soon as the movie starts, and it takes them about 2 hours to figure this problem out, whatever it may be, because I feel like that was one of the weaknesses of the previous one, is they did a lot of world building and explaining what everything was, which is good. That's what they needed to do. It was the first one of a franchise, but we really didn't get an actual plot and something to resolve until about the last hour or so. And I really don't want any more of blitzball, pod racing, whatever their sport is in this movie. I don't need any more of that. Like, that's extra, that's cool. But yeah, I can do without that. I just want to see some good story, some good characters, and this awesome world. So I'm going to go ahead, run and watch this movie real quick, and I'll be right back. Alright, I just got done watching Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and it would have made an excellent 2-hour movie. So for me, this had the exact same problem as the first one. It just overstayed its welcome by about 45 minutes. I think it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I was just like, why do is it reasons like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, like every movie we get now has to be 2.5 hours minimum instead of 1:45 to 2 hours? But that being said, I did enjoy like the last third of the movie. It was the first third that really had me kind of wanting to check my phone or like check the time or what have you. But yeah, I mean, it's just the whole pacing was kind of lopsided toward the end. That being said, like the last half, the last third of the movie, I really enjoyed. Like, if it was just mainly that last half with the first third or so building toward that, instead of once again we have all these like random other things with Quidditch and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're in the last 90 minutes. We got to get to the plot with the Chamber of Secrets and actually explain what that is and all that stuff. Yeah, I feel like they should. I wish they would have just built on that a little bit sooner. But like I said, once they started building toward that, the movie was great in my opinion. Like, I really enjoyed, you know, this whole mystery of like who opened the Chamber of Secrets, and you know, then there's the whole 180 toward the end and all that stuff. So that was great. I wish they would have spent more of the earlier time building on that whodunit instead of like who didn't do it, basically, with the whole thing with let's write Hagrid out by framing him up. And it turned out it was somebody else the whole time, and then it turned out it's the big bad as a memory, and yeah, it got a little confusing with that part, but it is what it is. I really did enjoy like the last part of it. So I guess some of my favorite characters and some of my least favorite characters in this movie. So I think I'll start with the most valuable players. Runner-up for me has to be Dumbledore's Phoenix. I mean, toward the end of the movie, the Phoenix just kind of took over. I'm like, hey, I'm here to save the day. Have a hat with a sword in it. I'll fly you guys out for free. It'll be great. Always gotta love Phoenix. So that was awesome. I know one of the titles upcoming in like the 4th, 5th, or 6th movies, like the Order of the Phoenix. So I'm curious to see if they're going to make a whole movie about this Phoenix, or it's just the culture of the Phoenix, or what have you. So I definitely enjoyed the Phoenix for sure. But I think my MVP is just going to have to be Harry in this one, because, I mean, really, this was finally the first one that was his movie. I mean, the first one, obviously, his name's in the title, but I feel like the first movie was all about just building that world, and Harry experiencing that, and figuring out what all this wizardry is about, whereas this movie, this is where you get to figure out what Harry's all about, in my opinion. You get to see his growth from start to finish in this one, and he's really the one that hops in and saves the day with a little help from his friends, of course, because that's where Harry Potter really shines, especially that Phoenix. But my least valuable players, it's going to have to go to Dobby. Dobby. Oh God, Dobby! Just as soon as I saw this CG creature on screen, it just reeked of Jar Jar. I'm sorry, Dobby fans. Like, he's immediately just causing chaos, just to randomly cause chaos, and I just don't like that when they throw characters in for cheap laughs, or, you know, wrestling term of the day, cheap pops, basically. And that's what I felt like Dobby was. Even though he did have a cool arc toward the very end, where Harry tricked Lucius into giving him that sock in the book, and then it set him free, and he was actually able to successfully defend Harry, which is a fun little scene there with Dobby. So hopefully, I'm assuming he's going to be in like the next 6 films. Hopefully we at least get to see him in minimal terms, and he's doing good, and has been kind of like Jar Jar in episodes 2 and 3 of the Star Wars prequel trilogy. He might pop in with 1 or 2 lines and accidentally vote Lord Voldemort as the Empire Senator, whatever. So yeah, and then the least valuable runner-up, I guess, Myrtle, the bathroom ghost, who turned out 50 years ago somehow was a witness to who opened the chamber to begin with. And she was just weird. There's no easy other way to put it. So yeah, those are my top players. But I overall, I did enjoy this. But once again, it suffers from the runtime, in my opinion. I'm going to tack a 7.5 out of 10 on this one as well. Yeah, don't really know what else to say from there. It would have been a 9 on 10 if it was 2 hours. But like I said, the whole first third just dragged for me. I really don't know how else to put it. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one, though, because the people I've talked to about watching this whole experience are just like, if you can make it to the third one, you'll be good. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the third one has in store, that people revere it so much. So I'm really looking forward to that, but we'll talk more about that next time, of course. So hopefully you'll join me next time. But so you know when these videos drop, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Turn on the notifications if you feel up to it. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.